This is Graham from Doteasy coming to you with another video, and thank you as always for watching our videos. Today we're going to be covering backing up your website, which is one of the most important things you can do on your website. And make sure that should anything happen, and of course as always we hope it doesn't, but should anything happen, of course, you will have the ability to restore your site back to its former glory. Now with the backup, there's a couple different ways to do this. The way we're going to be going through and doing this today is with the cPanel. It's one of the easier ways to do it, but it is something that you do need to make sure to do, and it can be a little comprehensive, so we're going to go through and make sure we cover everything here for you so that there's any questions or any worries about it. We're going to be going through also a service we offer called the Doteasy Backup service as well, just to show you guys what it is. It's actually quite cheap. It's $1.50 a month. It basically means that we do all the backups and store all the backups, and we can even restore the backups for you. No anything else here, no trouble. We have everything on a separate server for you. So we're going to be starting off with showing you how to get it done through cPanel. Now this we need to go through and go to the Doteasy website to start with. So here we have doteasy.com. We've already got it up. I want to start off by going to Member Zone Login. Find this in the top right hand corner. And then we need to go to Hosting Member and we need to log in here. And then click Continue to sign in. Go past the loading screen here. Now within Member Zone you're going to find all the familiar functions you're used to. Under Quick Reference, we want to go down to Site Admin Panel. It's about halfway down the list here. Once you've got that up here, it'll open up in a new window for you. And you're going to see all the options within your control panel. Now in the cPanel, you can easily back this up by going to Files and going to Backups here. Now there is a couple different backups at option. One is a full backup and the other is a partial backup. Now a full backup creates an entire server backup. Now this, although useful because it does have the entire server there, not so much useful to use a user. It's meant mostly for just entire server backups from the administrator standpoint, and not really so much to get access to the files. You can definitely find all the files and everything inside there, but you really have to dig in and really obscure where they are. So we suggest not even bother with the full backup itself. What you're looking for is actually going to be the partial backups. This creates an actual copy of each individual section of the site for you, and that way you have the files, you can work with them, and they're all there. First one you want to make sure you have is a partial backup of the home directory. Now the home directory is the public_HTML folder, which is on the server. All your actual website files are stored in here. If you used your own editor, you would have put them in there yourself. If you use something like the Doteasy website creator, then it actually installed them and put them in there for you. But everything here is where you need to grab. So by clicking on home directory, it's going to create a zipped up folder, so it basically compresses all your files together into a single file, so it's easier to download for you. And then you need to go ahead and click Save. Since we're using Firefox, it automatically saves to our default download folder. If you're using Internet Explorer, if you're using Safari or Chrome or any other browser, it may actually come up and ask you where you want to save it depending on how you have this set up. So if you do, just make sure to save it somewhere simple, like your downloads folder you normally put everything to, or if you want, you can also put it to desktop just for simplicity purposes. Now, if you have just a website itself, you're not going to see any of the other options here for like the database, for instance, or you may not see any forwarders or email system information if you haven't set up email accounts. So don't worry if you're missing the other tables here. They're situational to what you've been doing on the server. Now, if you have any kind of a CMS like WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, getting the database extremely, extremely important because you need this alongside the website files to make your site actually work properly. So in the case here, we only have one installed right now, which happens to be a WordPress, why it shows WP. So we just need to click on the name of the database. It asks us to save a zipped up file of this again. You just need to click on where it says OK, and it goes ahead and it downloads it here for us. And now that we've gone ahead and we've gone to OK, we know it's downloaded. If you have more than one database, you need to make sure to go through and click each individual name to download every database individually. These will make it so that you have everything, every copy, and you can easily put them back up. Now, if you ever do need to install everything back up, like restore it back from these backups, this is actually on the right-hand side here. You see where it says restore home directory or restore MySQL. You just go to the upload option, and you need to make sure to select the file first. So you go to browse, and then you can select wherever you download it to. In this case, it'll be in the default download directory, and you can see we've got a whole bunch of different things we've been downloading over time. So you just need to make sure to click the actual one you created here. So we can go, that's database backup, and then the other one will be here based on the time. There we go. Just click on open, and there we go. So it tells you you've got everything there, and you can go ahead and select any file. You can do either or, it actually doesn't matter. But this is just an example of how to restore the files once you've got it there. You just need to click on the upload option, and it'll actually upload the file back up here for you. So it gives a little message, in this case the database, and there we go. You can basically ignore what most of this says. It's just basically letting you know it's creating the database as it goes along. But that actually uploads the database. And you get a little green check mark here to let you know it's done. Now, one of the most important things to remember whenever you have a site is the larger the site, the more content that's going to come out of it and the longer time frame it's going to do. If your site is large enough and your internet connection is maybe having trouble on the day, you may find out it actually may time out. It may not be the way you want to do it. You may actually need to go through, say, the actual FTP to get the files, because that way it's not going to time out, but it's going to take a very long time for you. You may also need to go into the actual phpMyAdmin, download an actual database backup from there. Again, very long, very time consuming, but you may have to do it that way. Otherwise, the other option is the service we mentioned earlier, which is the backup service we offer, in which case we create all the server backups for you. We do it in such a way that it helps prevent any kind of resource issues on the site. When you back up the database or back up any website files, you're going to see a hit to the performance of the server because it has to take the time to create the file, get everything into the same zipped up file, and then download the file for you. So our backup service does avoid that from happening, so you can get all the services and everything running from the site without any of the downsides. We can also easily restore the files for you. You can even go and download the copies yourself in the backup service. It's even got an option within here. If you go in here, it's under here, it'll say the R1 soft backup service. It'll go through and do it there. So you can even find it there. And that allows you to go through and download individual files. The backups are stored daily for generally up to a week. And then afterwards, there's a weekly backup from older weeks past, and then there's even so far as a monthly backup. And then we can help you store or do anything for those you need. And then everything else here, if you really need to, you can go through the file manager if you really need to go for individual files, but it's not the best way of doing it. We'd suggest avoiding that. Or you can even go through, as we mentioned before, the phpMyAdmin if you want to do an actual database backup. But again, very messy, not worth doing unless you know exactly what you're doing with the database. Stick straight to the backup option, or if you want, sign up for a backup service, and then you can use the R1 Soft Restore backup service. And that's exactly how you can back up your content. That way you make sure that anything you're doing on the site, you've got a backup so you can feel free to break it or play with it as much as you want. Very easy to restore. We can help you restore it if necessary. And that way you've got everything taken care of. And if you have any comments or any questions or concerns about this, you can always contact our support. We'll be more than happy to help you, walk you through any of this, or explain anything you need help with. You can also leave a comment in the section here as always, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us comments there. You can also go ahead and like us on Facebook, leave any comments there, and follow us on Twitter as always. We will be bringing you more videos of other content and just letting you know of anything else that's coming up as well.